Welcome to NWA Hard Times 2. Very interesting. A show to think about. That's the title of this. I'm sticking to it because I thought about it a couple of times and that I kept going all over the place, and this seems to be the right one to say. Before I get started though, let's make this clear. The production value of this show had one major flaw, and it always seems to be, I don't get it. On the regular Power shows, or Power Surge, or when they did Empower, the camera work seemed to be fine. But when they go to a pay-per-view, the camera work drops off. If you see this show, you will see halfway through the show, camera work's okay. But near the end, the camera work starts acting screwy, where they don't switch the cameras properly. When you see people's butts, or you don't even see them talking, or even when it came to the Jazz tribute moment, when she's facing the women, instead of switching cameras, they leave it on her back. I don't know what's going on. And they're in a venue they know in Hotlanta. So you guys tell me below what you think about it if you've seen the show. Because the beginning into the middle, it seemed to be fine. But then nearing the end, it just drops off. Like the people in the production truck just don't pay attention. I don't know. Let's open with the first NWA qualifying match for the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship. Sounds like something from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Probably that's where they got it from. And this was Redyrus versus Aries. I don't know if he's working for them officially. He might not be. But if he is, they just picked up one of the most best well-known wrestlers who can wrestle a fast-paced style, a technical style, and be a freaking great heel when he wants to be. Yes, the guy's a dick and can be arrogant. But still, this guy is one of the best that Impact ever had. He was treated like crap in WWE, and now he had his shot in the NWA, and the match was good. It was quite good. And he won. Got no problem with it. And I'm hoping he is signed with NWA. Because we had that thought with Killer Frost. Lady Frost, as you know her. My woman, my Killer Frost. Because she'll kill you with those God goodness looks. Woman's damn sexy. As a gymnast. But she wasn't signed. So now we see NWA with Austin Aries going for the Junior Heavyweight Championship tournament. And he better be signed, because if he's near the end and he's not signed and he's gone, I don't know what the hell's going on with them. I'm gonna rant on them. I'm just saying. Next, we had the ROH Tag Championship match. Now, the one thing that was made apparent throughout some of the show was NWA respecting ROH. Making sure that they showed ROH, spotlighted people, and said how special ROH is. And at one point, I believe it was Joe that said that when Billy decided to buy NWA, it was ROH who backed him, who said and endorsed this guy for buying them. It's actually quite nice. Now, here's the thing. You had Stevens and Cradles versus OGK. That kind of comes off the tongue. But they didn't win. And I think they should have. To be honest, because Final Fight, I believe that's the name of the ROH last pay-per-view. That's supposed to be, when is it? Can't remember. Somewhere during the week. They got one last pay-per-view, like I've said, and then they're gone until, if they can come back, maybe April, May, or June of next year. If they don't want the titles to be stagnant, why not let NWA use them? And I think what should have happened was that Cradles and Stevens should have won them. Not take anything away from Mike Bennett and his partner. I can't remember the guy's name. But honestly, I think with the story that Cradles and Stevens have had, where they've been having problems that Stevens has not been able to get on the good foot, trying to figure out how can he stop losing, they should have won it. I think this would have been the best time for them to have a real win and to win the ROH Tag Championship, that they could have gone to ROH and done something there that could have been a joint thing between NWA and ROH, and an ROH Final Fight, I believe that's the name of it. They could say, if they're really being smart with Billy, that their titles, yes, the company is shutting down temporarily until they reorganize, but the ROH tag titles are going to NWA temporarily until we come back. That actually would be a good thing. It would be good that the owner of ROH would talk to NWA, AEW, and Impact Wrestling and say, look, I need you to let our people who have our titles keep them, or at least hold on to them for us. The people, if they got to be stripped of them or be beaten, fine, let them work with you and let us hold on to our titles, spotlight them, please. And if they're respectful, they'll show them. And that would be the best thing to keep ROH alive and give Impact, AEW, and NWA something extra that they can do with them. I'm just saying. Now, the match, which was quite interesting, Colby Corino versus Doug Williams, or Douglas Williams, if I remember him during the TNA days. Now, when I first saw him, it was back in maybe 2010 to 11, when I first started watching TNA, because I didn't see the product before then because I couldn't see it. Like I said before, guys, I had no cable. To save money, I had no cable. None. I didn't even have high-speed internet until 2010. I had dial-up. Guys. You have no idea how painful that was. But it was the only way I can get online to save whatever money I could save. I was literally scraping a child support bill, student loans bill, semi-high rent. It was killing me. I had to do it. But that's when I saw Doug Williams, or Douglas Williams. The last time I saw, I think 2011, 10 years ago for me personally. So seeing him was actually interesting. A grizzled veteran going up against a newcomer who is the son of a former champion. Not bad. It was not a bad technical match, at least in the beginning. And you can see Douglas Williams, how good of a wrestler he is. Now, he did lose, and I'm not surprised. They were not going to let him beat Colby Corino. Not going to happen. Not. But it was good to spotlight him, particularly if he's working for NWA, or, as I've been saying, particularly if he was working ROH. If these guys and girls are going to be doing taping by taping basis, they're going to come in, they're going to get paid, they'll do some tapings, maybe come back again, or just like Lady Frost, just do tapings and then disappear. I'm just saying. Next, you know what? I think I should get this done first. I'm curious. You guys tell me below what you think about this new show that NWA is going to be putting on. NWA USA. I have no idea where they're going to show it. Is it going to be on YouTube? Is it going to be on Fight TV? What day is it going to come on? Is it going to conflict with AEW and Impact Wrestling for me? Because if the Junior World Championship is going to be spotlighted there, it makes me wonder, if I want to see it, how am I going to see it? If it comes on a Wednesday, I'm not going to be able to see it, because I'm already doing NWA Power when I can see it on a Wednesday morning, and then Wednesday night, I'm doing Dynamite. Thursday, I am doing Impact. Friday, I am doing Rampage. So where the hell is this thing going to show up? Is it going to be on Monday? Is it going to be on a Tuesday? Is it going to be on a Friday or Saturday or Sunday? You guys tell me what you think. Now, let's move on to the best match of the night for me personally. Impact Knockouts Championship. Mickie James versus Kiera Hogan. Now, for me, as a best case scenario for the women. This was the best match on the card for the women. Period. Not taking anything away from Melina and the Camille, the Brick House. But this was the best match for me. As overall best match, it was the best match of the night for me personally. It was. I can easily say that. It was so good. Now, many people are going to say, Guy, what are you talking about? Kiera Hogan's not that good of a wrestler. You're wrong. Now, mind you, you have your opinion. And I'm not taking anything away from it. But let's be honest. After seeing this match, see the match for what it was. It takes two to make a match look really good. And if you say that she's not good of a wrestler, look at this match again and see how well it was structured. How well they built the match up in the very beginning, making sure they did a slow build up into making it highly emotional. They still showed friendship in the beginning. They made it very clear they both wanted to win. Kiera was willing to do whatever she could to win, but she wasn't willing to cheat. She wanted to prove to her mentor, the woman that she loves, as not just a fan, but a teacher to her, and a friend that she adores, that this meant something to her, that she wanted to prove her worth. And this also could be like one of my subscribers said that maybe this might be her gateway to get back into Impact Wrestling, because she said on AEW TV it didn't feel like Impact. Impact felt more of a home than AEW, due to the fact that I do believe her in the respect that AEW used to have a roster like this. The beginning of 2020. It's this now. They went from this to this. Outside the frame. There's a lot of people there. So it's getting harder to be a family if there's so many people in the family. I'm just saying. But still, this might be a way for her to get back. And with this match, she could easily come back and say, hey, I want another match with Mickie James. And it was a very emotional match, because at the end of it, when she was beaten, and she was beaten by a roll-up, she looked like she was crying. And unfortunately, because of the camera work and not readjusting the camera to look at her from the direction she was facing, which was the fans, which I don't understand why the camera work was so bad in that respect when it was important to do it. But taking away from that, she looked like she was sobbing. And she had to be hugged by a Mickie James, which I thought was a beautiful thing. Let's move on. Now, the match that really didn't have that very good build. Well, I take that back. It did have a good build. It had a good special referee. But the match itself didn't really feel right. That Scion versus Tyrus. And a no DQ, no countouts match, where Tyrus just looked bad. Look, I'm not against Tyrus, you guys. You know I'm not. I am not against Tyrus. But we were legitimately in a match where Tyrus's weakness of getting easily tired would easily be covered up. And the way he worked, the way he was so slow at certain points, really felt like, what was the point? I'm wondering if Scion was even interested in this. I'm sure he was pissed at one point. Not because he didn't win, it's because the match looked too sluggish. It did. Scion was the one who was doing his best to make it mean something. Of course, it was meant for him to really spotlight himself. But as a TV championship match, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't. It felt like it could have been better. And at one point, you get the Pope, D'Angelo De Niro, being harassed by Tyrus. And then he got sick of it and started fighting Tyrus. Since it was no DQ, he didn't have to worry about it until he splashed a Scion in the corner, and it was over. I felt that you could have given the Scion the title. You could have. You could have done it. You had Clearwater come out. And it didn't make any sense for Pope sending the Austin Idol to the back when there's no DQ. He can't just be thrown back. It does make a difference. At least from my perspective. But still, the match really didn't flow well. It just didn't feel right. Here's another one. NWA Tag Championship. What was going on with that? Something didn't feel right. La Rebellion versus the N. Peril and Odinson versus Mega Wolf. Wait, it's Mega Wolf and the other guy. I forgot his name. But, guys, you gotta tell me below. Did Peril look alright? I don't know what's going on. Peril looked tanked within 5 minutes. Now, Peril's a big guy. No one denies that. But within 5 minutes of them actually starting the match, and it looked good when they got the first 5 minutes they were inside the ring. Not when they were outside. When Peril grabbed, I believe it was Mega Wolf, I believe his name is. I keep forgetting his name. I don't see him often. He grabs him, holds him after he dives on him. Twice, he grabs him and holds on to him and then slams him to the floor, which was actually very well done. But once they got into the ring, within 5 minutes, he was tanked. Bad. And yes, he had a couple of moments of spurts, but you could see he could barely breathe. Is he alright? Is he sick? I don't know what it was. And I want to make this clear. I am not doing that because he's gay. That's bullshit. If anyone thinks I'm saying this because, well, Peril's gay, I guess that's why he's tired. No! I'm saying because he looked legitimately out of breath. And I'm going, what the hell is going on? And in the end, I think the end should have won here. Just like when it came to Stevens and Cradles. I think the end could have won here. They should have won. It should have made more sense for them to win. But it's still holding on to the titles. And the question is going to be, what's going to happen next on Power this Tuesday? I'm just saying. Now, let's move on to Santa McFoley. Really? It was nice to see him there. It was nice that he talked about NWA when he was working there. And it was nice that he made it about NWA. And I appreciate that he talked about what happened dealing back in 1989 when he did a flying forearm 17 feet away from the ring, which he did before, where he kept breaking his bones and everything. And he made it important about the NWA being what it is. And I agree with that. I liked it. It felt important. It felt special. Now, many people will say he's not Ric Flair. Please. It's not the point of him being Ric Flair. It's not the point of him being Sting, because Sting held, I think, the NWA title one time. He's Mick Foley. And he felt important. Not only if he would go to AEW and put over Darby Allin as the new Mick Foley or the new Cactus Jack. That's what I would like. Now here's the one that I knew. Well, let me give it to you like this. Seeing Jazz being the way she was when she talked on Impact, I knew she would talk the exact same way on NWA. Doesn't mean she did it bad on Impact, but she did the same thing here. She spoke her mind. She thanked the people in ECW and WWE and NWA. Admittedly, I'm not going to lie here, she did not really put over NWA as much as WWE. Let's be honest. She put over the WWE way more than NWA or ECW. She did. She did. Particularly when she said she went to WrestleMania, she went in as champion, she left as champion. Now, mind you, I'm not taking anything away from her. She deserves that moniker. But I kind of wish she would talk more about her run, that 900-day run, and anyone that she faced during that 900 days. Even though NWA was not really strong back then when she did her run, does not mean she couldn't have put that over. So for me personally, anyone else would be fine with it. But for me personally, she focused a little bit too much on WWE, somewhat on ECW and Paul Lee. and Tommy Dreamer and everybody else who saw her for who she was. Not tits and ass, but talent and ability, yes. But NWA, it didn't feel like she really made NWA important, like Mick Foley did. And that I do not agree with. Now, mind you, she did talk about a husband who was right by her side, who I believe was also a wrestler, which is cool. And she talked about him more than anything else other than the business, which is fine. Having a man for 10 or 20 years who's been by your side, who has encouraged you, who's been your physical therapist, who has been your training partner, and who's been willing to stick with your kids while you've been traveling around, shows as a good man that you must put over. From the love of your life, you see him in my face. But still, I wish more NWA was mentioned. Let's move on. Now, Chris Adonis versus Judas for the national championship. Honestly, one of these championships could have changed hands very easily. And let's put it like this. Judas could have used the title. Mind you. Good match. I'm not a big Chris Adonis fan. Doesn't mean the masterpiece is bad. But it was a good match. But Judas should have won. But if they're going to do something with strictly business, of course he can't lose. That's just the way it goes. But he looked dominant in the very beginning. Then he finally got his hamstring messed up. And in the end, once he was put into the master lock, he was out. But within a few seconds, he regained consciousness, which was fine. But still, I do believe he could have won that match. Like Sion could have won this match, or the End could have won that match, or Stevens and Cradles could have won that match. They could have one of those titles change hands. I'm just saying. The match here had a good beginning, had a good story, and a good ending. And that's Nick Aldis versus Tom Latimer. And the stip didn't really make much sense. I'm sorry. I don't agree with the stip. That if either one of them is counted out or disqualified, then both of them are suspended for 2 months. Why not have the stip where whoever loses is suspended for 2 months? That would have been better. That would have been more important. That would have felt like something. Unlike when it came to Trevor Murdoch and Nick Aldis, where one just goes home and he doesn't work and he doesn't get paid. He just goes home. He's not getting paid. This is a suspension. There's a difference. The match was okay. Admittedly, it was a little sloppy at first, especially with that monkey flip that Nick Aldis took from Tom Latimer. He did slip and hit his ass on the floor. It wasn't too bad. But in the end, the match wasn't too bad, and you got Nick winning. Now the question is going to be, where does this lead to? My belief is that Nick is going to go after the national championship. That's the reason why Chris Adonis didn't lose here. Now, mind you, I understand it. I still believe Judas could have won if there was no strictly business storyline. I'm just saying. Now, let's see. What else do we have here? We have 2 more matches. Camille versus They're my face. I believe I got a shot at him. I don't know what got up Melina's ass, but she wanted to whoop some ass so badly. Camille, this was a very rough match. Now, mind you, a lot of these matches were a bit sloppy, and some people look like they got hurt a little bit. But this was the one match that was truly rough. At one point, not taking away from the story they were trying to tell in the ring, where it was about Camille, not arm, elbow, but her entire right arm. She was going to be immobilized by Melina. Melina decided to try and dislocate her shoulder so she can be able to not do the spear or do anything functional. But there were points when Melina was laying on top of her, trying to hammer her or on her arm, and she got it nailed in the damn face. And then at one point, Melina literally got elbowed really hard into the face. It was very rough. I don't know if these women really like each other in real life, but that match looked really like they didn't really like one another. In the end, I didn't expect Camille to lose here. I didn't. So she won. But the question is going to be, who's the next opponent now? That's going to be a good question. Who is currently on the roster and who's coming in? Lady Frost is not there now. Jazz isn't wrestling. Majority of the women that got there, yeah, they're there, but does this mean that we're going to have a really good opponent for her? And if they don't, when is she going to when is NWA going to send her to AEW and do what Selena Deeps did? At least 1 or 2 matches. I'm just saying. No, I got to say this. If you compare Camille versus Jade Cargill in flat out strength, not years of experience, flat out strength, guess who's stronger? Camille. I could tell Camille is stronger. She can whip some ass. Now, the final match, Trevor Murdoch versus a Mike Knox. I believe he is from RH. He nailed... How can you explain the story? It wasn't like we saw much of Mike Knox beforehand. So this was a quick fix thing. He comes in, he attacks Trevor's son, and he attacks him. And the key here is that the attack happened. That was all the story there. Now, was it a great story? No, they needed more time. Trevor needed to be on Power a couple of times, and he needed to be attacked a couple of times, or at least Mike Knox had to be there to talk on Power to make it feel more important. This feels like it was thrown together. And the match itself felt like it was thrown together at the last minute. Trevor won, fine. But now here comes interesting thing. And that is just like what happened with El Rebellion with a JTG and Dirty Dango. I didn't forget it. I just wanted to mention it here. We get Matt Cardona coming out, facing a Trevor, right when Mike Knox attacks him from behind. Everyone's wondering why he's there. Mick Foley don't like it, calls out Pope. Pope gets his ass handed to him. And then you see Matt Cardona getting into the ring, holding up the NWA title, and making very clear he wants the damn thing. Just like Dango and JTG are going after Rebellion, hopefully, and I hope that Dirty Dango is signed. I don't want another Lady Frost incident where Dango is getting over and he's not signed to the damn place. But this might be something interesting going forward, counting on how they book it. Because it's obvious Matt Cardona is signed to, I believe he's still signed to Impact. So they're going to do something between Impact and NWA. Fuck Impact Wrestling. I may bring that back. Because if this is booked badly and NWA doesn't get TV time on Impact, or vice versa, a little bit more of Impact on NWA, this means shit. And they gotta mention it, and they gotta show snippets of each other's TV shows to make it mean something. But, or at least talk about it. But this is just me. It was an interesting show that you could easily see. You could see it, guys. And this is my review of Hard Times 2 2021 review. Please give me a comment below next to my throat itchy. Ugh, I got itchy throat again, damn it. The weather in New York is so crazy. It gets cold, it gets warm, it gets muggy, and now my throat's all acting up again. It's all itchy right here. Damn it. Peace.